Everybody, welcome to the Great Lakes Divide live stream presented to you by Federal-Williams-Realty.com, Federal-Williams.com, sorry. It's Friday. We're going to get into Michigan and Notre Dame discussion. We'll take your game predictions. I'll offer mine, and that's how it goes. Lots to talk about. A lot to talk about, especially I just posted an article. Chris Evans offers a little bit of bulletin board material for Notre Dame. He does not like Notre Dame. He's not fond of South Bend. And he said Notre Dame wasn't really messing with him like that, like during the recruitment process. He took a couple visits. He said South Bend. He didn't consider South Bend to be part of Indiana. Geographically, it is. But Chris Evans begs to differ. So give it a read. It's healthy. It's healthy dislike. I think you want that. There's got to be, some. It's already Michigan Notre Dame. You don't really need any added extra motivation. But if you're a guy like Chris Evans, I mean, you're a key player and you have that kind of personal chip on your shoulder, that's going to fuel you. And I mean, that's, you like to see that in the rivalry games. Michigan, Ohio State. Michigan gets a lot of guys from Ohio. Michigan State versus Ohio State. They get a lot of guys from Ohio. Michigan State. I mean, it's not, I don't consider it trash talking. I don't think that he was trash talking. I think it's just honest. And I mean, a lot of guys might not say it. And there's probably guys who might say a little bit more, or at least think it. So give it a read. Chris Evans, and watch the video too. Chris Evans definitely having a little bit of fun with it. But I'm sure if Notre Dame gets wind of that, he's going to be going up against his former teammate, Asmar Bilal, who starts at outside linebacker. So he's looking forward to showing Asmar and Notre Dame what they missed out on. So, and real quick before I tweet the link and get in the chat, guys, I see some of the comments. The first stream, I just got a new phone. The first stream, we had some clarity issues and buffering. It looks a lot better right now. So please let me know, is it buffering? Do you see any blur, anything like that? Let me know. I'm going to tweet this live link and get in the chat. And for those of you who have been following the site and know that Ryan Schuling, my partner, he'll be at Michigan State, Utah State tonight. Then he and I are going to Notre Dame tomorrow to cover the game as a two-man team. We won't ordinarily do that, but I mean, it's Michigan Notre Dame, and we both feel that this game deserves a ton of coverage. And Ryan, 2 games and 2 nights, he's going to be working to the bone a little bit, but he's put up some great Michigan State content yesterday. Wonderful podcast interview with John U. Bacon. Check that out. It's on the podcast tab on greatlakesdivide.squarespace.com. And John U. Bacon shares a lot of cool stories about Jim Harbaugh. They don't talk about how I raced John U. Bacon in the alleyway between Yost and Wilpon, where the baseball and softball stadiums are, and obviously Yost Ice Arena. John has raced me in 2 of his vehicles, and he has lost both times. I'm on foot and with a computer bag. So if you see John, let him know, because I certainly will. So hold on real quick. I'm going to tweet this live link, and we're going to get rolling. So I guess the first order of the day would be, what do you guys want to discuss first? You guys want to do the game predictions? I'm going to go through real quick. Balance 440 says, hey, Adam Shane Majewski. Let's go, Adam. We all know you're a Go Blue guy. Owen Schusler says, love the streams. Excited. Thanks, Owen, for joining. Balance 440 says, 35-13 Michigan. Trill City, message retracted. Hey, Trill City, how's it going? Simple Carl, I had a dream that coach put me in and I ran a slant and Shea hit me for 75-yard touchdown against Notre Dame. Simple Carl, are you Nico Collins? That's what with the game, guys, I did a game-by-game prediction, and I know every week we predict the scores, but I don't know if I just kind of killed that off. We'll still do it. I'm going to stick to mine, but I also kind of predict, just like leading rusher, tackles for loss, sacks. I'm not going to go. It's already kind of going down on a limb anyway, and I feel like I went out on a big limb with Nico, 750 yards, because if you do the math, the receptions, And look what the way that Tariq Black was used last year. I mean, Tariq Black, his first game, 46-yard touchdown, just deep bomb from Wilton Spate, who they just announced at UCLA that he's the starter. He's had the job for a couple weeks, so I can confirm that. But anyway, and then a 37-yard catch. So if Nico's going to be on the end of those 40 and 30-yard connections, you know, he might end up, you know, 3 catches in a game, 90, you know, 110 yards, 100. I mean, who knows? I mean, at the deep ball threat, it's really a position where he can rack up some stats. So I went out on a big limb for Nico, but I think that he's going to have a big year because I thought that Tariq Black was going to have a similar year. So Wes Weber Jr. wants to know, am I going to the Michigan State game tonight? I am not. Alan Pinkney, okay, we're not. Wes Weber says, no buffering but mirrored. Yeah, and I don't know. It's been doing that ever since I started it back up, Wes. It didn't used to be mirrored. And I've Googled it and gone in the settings and trying to see if there's a way to fix it. I'm not a tech guy, if anybody out there knows, because I don't like the mirrored look, and it annoys me. So Trill City says he's pissed about Tariq Black. I mean, a lot of Michigan fans are pissed, mad. You know, obviously you're not mad at him, but yeah, you're angry. And that sucks for him. I mean, 2 years in a row. Last year he got to play, he got injured against Air Force. So that was the 3rd game. This year he doesn't even get to take the field, and he was really excited about doing that. So Andrew K says, Dexter Williams playing this game. I don't think so, Andrew. Anyone else think, Shane Mieski wants to know, anyone else think Notre Dame will use Michigan's over-aggressive defense to their advantage? Misdirection, short, quick passes to help their O-line in Wimbush. Matt Crittenden says, okay, now you got me curious. Mad about what? I'm not even going to say their name, but he was wrong about Rashawn Gary's injury. I'm sorry. Confirm it. Go there. Talk to people. You'll find out real information. It's really crazy how that happens. If you actually go there and talk to the players and the coaches and have some other good connections and sources, I mean, you'd be amazed at what you can find out. It's just so, I'm not saying it's easy, but once you know what to do, then, you know, you get in a groove of it. I mean, that's mad about what, that's kind of funny. Anyway, guys, let's get back. What do you want to do? Predictions. Jay Mays 2 says, hey, Adam, on my break, just tuned in. Here's my prediction. 21-14 Michigan with a win. Gary will have 2.5 sacks. I think Rashawn's going to finish about 9.5 on the year. So that'd be a huge game for him. And 2.5. I think 9.5, 10 is probably fair for Rashawn. And again, I included that in the game-by-game predictions. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you guys my prediction right now. 2017 Notre Dame. I know you're going to hate me for it. That's what I'm seeing. If you want to see what the rest of my outlook on Michigan's season is, feel free to read the game predictions. As a matter of fact, I'll put it in the link right here in the chat. I think it's going to be a close game. I've seen a lot of people, and I'm going to go to my Twitter too, a lot of people with predictions and a couple of people predicting a high-scoring game. I don't think weather is going to be a huge factor. It looks like the thunderstorms and rain, if that happens earlier in the afternoon, maybe, you know, depends on how heavy it is. I mean, maybe the field's a little bit wet, but I mean, I don't think there's going to be any actual weather happening. Jay May says, oh, Adam, LOL. Alan Pinkney says, we definitely take the dub in South Bend. Shane Majewski says, 23-14 Notre Dame. Johnny Olden, how good do you think Notre Dame's defense is? Well, if you guys, I mean, there's so much to talk about, so I'm trying to focus it, you know, what area do we want to start on? But I mean, of course, you know, you look at like the loss of Niles Morgan. Excuse me. There's a couple guys though. Khalid Kareem, if you guys remember him, he's from Michigan, Farmington. Harrison, I went to his. They brought out media, and I thought he was going to commit to Michigan. I was dead set. I was like, that's what. And then he committed to Alabama. So it was kind of funny. And then he ends up at Notre Dame. But if you guys want to talk about, you know, their defense, we could do that. I mean, Khalid Kareem, I think, Julian Love, their cornerback. Notre Dame's got a pretty good offensive line, and of course some wide receivers too. I mean, Miles Boykin, I think, is going to be somebody to watch. Chase Claypool. I can't talk today. Chase Claypool. I'm having a really rough time. Let's see any other. Shay Mieski, prediction and why, Adam, please. 2017, Notre Dame. I think it's low-scoring game. Defense. I'm not particularly. I think this is going to be a game where, for both quarterbacks. I mean, I feel like Wimbush has a little bit to prove, especially against Michigan defense like this. Shea Patterson's got a lot to prove too. So I'm thinking that maybe for both teams it's going to be kind of a similar scenario. But I think for Michigan, maybe a little bit first couple drives, let just kind of see how things pan out. I mean, it's the first opening game of the year. They haven't played in 4 years. I don't anticipate a shootout. I think it's going to be one of those. It's going to come down to obviously turnovers. I mean, if you make a costly mistake, but I mean, I think it's going to come down to who plays the cleanest game and who plays the best defense. And 2017, I think, is fair. Like I said, I don't see a shootout. Not like what we saw last night, Purdue Northwestern. That was a pretty exciting game. I actually didn't catch the end. But I know of like a late penalty. Larkin, I saw the video, late penalty cost Purdue, Northwestern won. I don't even know the final score. I was just watching a little bit while I was eating dinner. Sean DeBoer says 20-13 Big Blue defense dominates. Ethan Lahana says, what's good, Adam? Hey, Ethan, how's it going, man? Matt Crittenden says Notre Dame lost their second best corner, Crawford. That means their slot corner will now expect. Hold on, that means their slot corner will be new. Expect Perry, big game. Notre Dame lost 2 huge offensive linemen, top 2 running backs, NFL this year, started a suspension, maybe. All valid points, Matt. All valid points. Alan Pinkney, yeah, 20-17, guys. That's my preview. Notre Dame's offensive line. I mean, and they're putting in some new pieces too. But I mean, starting left tackle Liam Eichenberg, left guard Alex Bars. Sam Mustipher at center. He's the new center. Tommy Kramer at right guard. And it looks like Robert Hainsey at right tackle. And it never fails. My dogs are in the background barking, so I apologize. They're giving their prediction too. I think they're going with Notre Dame, guys. I don't know. I'll have to double check. Matt Crittenden adds, expect defense to eat their run game alive and Wimbush can't throw. Matt, was that you on Twitter? Cited accuracy issues. What was it? 48%, 49% completion? Ethan Mahinas, who's your player of the game? For Michigan, I'll go with an offensive and defensive player. I think it's going to be Chris Evans and Khaleke Hudson. I mean, I expect Rashawn to have a big game, but I think Khaleke Hudson, Khaleke just makes an impact everywhere. And I mean, I've been saying this ever since he took over for Jabril at Viper. Jabril was a very good Viper. Khaleke owned that position. Khaleke now set the bar for Viper at Michigan. So I'm going to go Khaleke Hudson on the defensive side and then Chris Evans on the offensive side. And Ethan, I'm not sure if you heard when I opened and read the article, I tweeted it. Chris Evans does not like Notre Dame. He does not like South Bend. I think there's definitely some personal mojo going in there with Chris into South Bend, and that's a great thing. I think you want guys to have that during a rivalry game, and you want them to understand that. And Chris is from Indiana, so he understands Notre Dame, and he understands everything with it. And I think players like that are the guys that end up having big games. But again, I mean, we could see a big game from Zach Gentry just as well as Sean McKinney. You can really take your pick, and especially with it being the first game, we don't know what we're really going to see yet. So I think it's take your pick, and I'm just basing it on some things, what I know and what I think will be an impact. So again, Khaleke on defense, and then Chris is the offensive player of the game. Micah Bergstaller says, yo, hey, Micah, how you doing? Robert Protzman says, bold prediction for the game. Mine is Michigan wins by 10 plus. So what are we talking? 30-20, 20-10, 27-17. John Brower, Michigan will go 9-3. I'm seeing 9-3 again too, guys. If you guys see my season prediction, and I put scores because some people want more than a win-loss. I mean, it's impossible to predict scores, but based on past opponents, based on what I think Michigan's defense can do, I mean, it's all prediction stuff, right? So I mean, if I hit it, then it's good. It's a lucky guess. If I don't, well, then you could tell me I didn't know what I was talking about. But educated guesses. Robert Prossman says 17-7, Michigan. John Brower, Devin Bush will be the game changer, 100%. Cleat Hudson had one good game. I hate to say it. I disagree a little bit with you, John, but yes, Devin Bush. I was rewatching Michigan versus Wisconsin from last year and just watching Devin Bush all over the field. Devin's going to have I don't think there's any question about Devin Bush is going to have a major year. And if he's already been being talked about, he was last year being talked about as one of the best linebackers in college football. And I think a guy like Devin, put it this way, it's an opener, it's Notre Dame off a 4-year break, and a lot of these guys want to go make a statement. I mean, they really do. And players like Devin Bush, he told me they don't want a shoulda, coulda, woulda season. And it starts Saturday. It starts tomorrow. I can't believe kickoff's already here. It's summer flew by. Sherwoody14 says, I think Michigan is so due and motivated, so I think it's 27-17 Michigan. Ethan Lahinas says 24-20 Michigan. Late scores wins it for Michigan. Cameron Clark's here. Hey, Cam, how you doing? Owen Schussler says, I think we will win if Shea doesn't try to do too much. And guys, let me know if I butcher your name. I try not to. You guys I don't even know if I want to go through the weekly. I want to focus it on here, but I mean, I did make my picks. I mean, I think 9-3 for Michigan is fair given the schedule and given some of, all the things that we've talked about. This X, Y, and Z has to happen in order for this. And I mean, it's difficult. And I had a discussion last night with Nick Baumgartner, the Free Press, and unfortunately, I was using this conference call thing, and it didn't even record the damn conversation. I was going to put it in the podcast. So we've had some technical difficulties with podcast arrangements, and technology is really good, or technology can really suck. But anyway, I was hoping to post it today, but I'm sure a lot of you guys follow Nick, and he and I seem to be pretty much in agreement. I mean, the floor for this 8-4, and that's major problems. Really, things come together, and we see a star Shea Patterson. We see an offensive line that's improved. Those are the questions. 10-2. I mean, and that's fair. I think if you look at the high end for Michigan, any better than 10-2, and I mean, look at the Big Ten East. The Big Ten is loaded. You have to factor in everything. I know a lot of Michigan fans are hungry. They want a national championship contender. They, if you say they're going to lose to a rival, they don't like, I mean, this week I've had a couple. I understand we might not always agree, and that's fine. If you want to debate me, that's cool. But I mean, you got to look at the facts. And I mean, I'm not picking against Michigan for the sake to pick against Michigan. I'm being logical. So, I mean, and if you look at some of these scores that I think Michigan is capable of, I think they do catch some offense, because I think they hang a bunch on Rutgers at Rutgers. I think that they're going to demolish SMU. I think they'll probably walk through Western Michigan. I think at Northwestern they'll win, but that'll be a tough game. I mean, I think they're probably going to really manhandle Maryland. I mean, there's a few games where I see Michigan just really, doing some damage to the opponent. But you got to look at these road games, and you got to look at the fact that it's Wisconsin, Penn State, Michigan State with just a bye week in there. Put any team on the schedule and then tell me, oh, well, they're going to go undefeated in their national championship. I mean, you're not getting out of that with anything. If you get out of that with 2 or fewer losses, then you are a national championship contending team, I think. Kyle Ralph says, seems too good to be true, but I'm going 20-13 Michigan. Notre Dame must rely on Wimbush throwing, and it's not enough with Michigan's pass rush and secondary. A lot of doubting on Brandon Wimbush. This guy rushed, though, for 100 yards 4 more times last year, and it was like 207 or something like that just a shade over 200 against Boston College, and Boston College had pretty good defenses. Don Brown was there. You know, I mean, I know it's not his defense, but there are still players there. Boston College had a good defense. He destroyed those guys. Good defensive line anyway. I mean, he absolutely just ripped them. So, I mean, with Brandon Wimbush, maybe he doesn't get it done with his arm, but he's going to do something with his legs. And this is, I think, where an advantage for Michigan might come in, because these guys have been used to chasing Shea Patterson all around. You know, and they've watch the videos on my YouTube channel. Chase Winovich talks about it. I'm trying to think, David Long mentioned it. Who made the joke and said that Shea is faster than he looks? I'm trying to remember that. We talked to so many guys, write so many things. I remember really fine details. Sometimes I'll forget that. But, I mean, he said he was faster than he looks. I mean, so I think Michigan's defense is going to be prepared to take on a mobile quarterback. Cam Clark says low scoring. It's going to be wet. Yeah, Cam, that's what I think. I think it's going to be low scoring too. And again, I mentioned earlier that between 1 and 3, I think they're expecting thunderstorms and some rain. So by the time kickoff, it should be in the 80s. So, I mean, warm and, you know, probably a little bit wet conditions depending on how much rain they get. And, I mean, I imagine if they get a soaker, you know, I mean, it's going to take a while for that to dry. So, yeah, probably good bet probably to assume that the field's probably going to be wet. It's not going to be a nice, clear, perfect fall night. But then again, I mean, if you want to see like a slugfest football game, maybe this is kind of where it's going to be. And again, with the wet field, I mean, the cleanest game is going to win this. Cleanest game, best defense. J Mays 2 says, I'm okay if we lose against Notre Dame, Whiskey Penn State, but we have to win against Michigan State and Ohio State. Let me get to some of these Twitter predictions, guys. And if I don't read yours, it's not on purpose. I try to get to everybody's. And hold on, I got a tweet. Okay. Sean McCune's mom, Charlotte, she reads and watches. Charlotte says, thank you for this, trying to pack now. So she's packing for the Notre Dame game, guys. Yeah, be aware there might be a little wet conditions. Obviously, drive safely if you're going. And as I mentioned, Ryan Schuling and I we're leaving tomorrow. Not sure exactly what time, but I want to get down there relatively early. But let me go through these. Let's start a hashtag too, guys, like with the game predictions, because now it's football season, it's hard to scroll through all these notifications and mentions. I retweeted them, so I acknowledged them. I'm sorry if you're watching and you tweeted me a score prediction. Tell it to me again, and I'll try to get to it. But any questions? Any questions? I know that we like to do the score prediction thing on Friday, but any questions about any Michigan players? Any questions, comments, concerns? Any comments? Anything? Michigan football related, I guess we'll call it that. Definitely check out that Chris Evans piece, though. I mean, I think, and watch the video. I think you guys would like that. Here's another article I'm going to throw in the chat too, because talking with Pop Hamilton, I think you got to really, really pay a lot of attention. I know Tariq Black's gone, like I mentioned earlier with Nico Collins. Pop Hamilton, I just put it in. Was talking about, you know, the wow moments that he's had with Nico already. So Cam Clark says 13-7 Michigan. Jay Mays 2 says they don't have Twitter. If it wasn't, you know, basically, I mean, now it is required. If you're not on Twitter, you know, there's really no point. If I didn't have to use the stuff for social media or for my job, I probably wouldn't do it. You know, I'm not huge on the social media. I do like Twitter. I think it could be really useful, but then I also hate it in a way because, you know, just the anonymous bull crap that you get, and it's like, you know, I don't like that that aspect of it. If you tweet, if you can be held to something that you tweet, then, you know, it's not fair to the, you know what I mean? Stand behind what you say, basically. You know, the fake accounts and, you know, that kind of stuff, or, you know, people don't use their real names and things like that. I don't even, you know, try not to pay attention to it, but they are annoying. That's the bad part of Twitter. But the good part of Twitter is, so much, resources to follow right people and things like that. And there's just so much information on there. So you got to wade through the crap sometimes on Twitter. Luke Copley says, Biggers. Luke, how's it going? The fireman, star relief pitcher for the Flint Seagulls. Good luck at Rochester this year. John Brower says the big brother Joe Milton will step up. Here's the thing on Joe Milton. What I've heard, he's got a ton of arm strength, right? That's known. And he's young. Maturity factor. So I don't think we're going to see really much of Joe Milton this year, if any. Unless there's an injury or something like that. But it's Shea, it's Brandon Peters, and then it's Dylan. Ethan Adams says, I think the Black injury for Michigan, in addition to the atmosphere, will prove too much for Michigan to overcome. Ethan, do you have a score prediction? I'm going to call it Luke Copley. Luke Copley, give me a score prediction. I can't talk today. He said, good Biggers, good to see you doing this again. I'll see you soon, Luke, I'm sure. Tell your dad and your brother Lance hello. John Brower says 24-21 Michigan. Kyle Ralph wants to know, do you think Runyon Jr. and Juwan Bushell-Beatty are at the tackle spots tomorrow night? Yes, I do. Tatenda Zinyemba, long time no see, 34-16 Michigan. And Eubanks has a huge game, Nick Eubanks. Robert Protzman says, bold take for the season, Adam. Well, I think bold take. I see Shea. if Michigan hasn't had a 3,000-yard passer since Jake Rudock, so if Shea has this huge blow-up year, I'm seeing 23, 24 touchdowns passing, 4 rushing touchdowns, maybe a few hundred yards rushing. I think that Shea can be a stat stuffer guy that's perfect storm kind of thing though, and how often does that happen? So that's why I'm kind of cautious to go, okay, well, hey, let's kick this thing into high gear. And 10-2, 11-1, okay, that's so. I think 10-2 was kind of bold enough when I say, and that's again with that schedule, and that's just pristine play. You're not. I don't care who you are. You're not, unless you are a team for the ages. You're not getting through that schedule with anything fewer than 2 losses. I really think it's that difficult. And one loss for sure. You are not running that schedule. Luke Copley says, Patterson plays good, easily win. Ethan Adams says 31-28 Notre Dame, but Michigan offense will show a ton of upside. Luke Copley is saying 28-24 Michigan. John Brower says, I like Zach Gentry as our best tight end. Wes Weber Jr. says Michigan plays 5 top 10 defense. Exactly, Wes. With questions on the offensive line. 2 new tackles. Cesar Ruiz at center. I'm confident in Cesar. Ben Bredesen at left guard. Mike Onwenu at right guard. So, those 3 have played a minute. And Juwan and John have played as well. But Juwan's had some injuries. They're both guys that you look potential-wise. I don't feel that either one is proven, but they've made it through camp as the starters. Now is their chance to prove so. They've been on the field. They've shown, I think we've seen, okay, when high end, when JBB is good, when Runyon Jr. is good, this can happen. It's a consistency thing. It really is with those guys, I think. Scott, I wouldn't go as far as say horribly, though. Because I don't think it's just absolutely horribly. And I don't think it's just them. I think last year a lot of it was right side of the line. And I think a lot of it may have had to do with communication with quarterback. And that goes again with the Shea thing, too. The offensive line, Ben Bredesen's talked about it, Cesar Ruiz, everybody's talked about it. Because Shea can do anything at any time. So knowing when to hold his block, how long to hold blocks, that kind of thing, where to be. that's why I'm saying maybe it takes a couple games, and especially Notre Dame. I mean, if you expect them to just come out gunslinging, 300 yards, 4 touchdown kind of deal, and striking a Heisman pose, after a 50-yard rushing touchdown, that's just not, it's not feasible. It's not going to happen. If it does happen, then I'm deleting this video. So there's no evidence that I said that it's never going to happen. We're going on 31 minutes, guys. So Robert Potsman says Pat's black is the struggle. That was a struggle. Simple Carl said, oh, for Masterfuls, got to read yours. Says, yo, Adam, I'm late. What's your prediction? I have it 2016 Michigan. I have it 2017 Notre Dame for Masterfuls. And again, if you look up, I don't know if you can, if you just joined, I don't know if you see all the backlogs. I'll tweet the game, my game predictions right here. Well, that's the Pep Hamilton with the receivers piece. Check that out. That's the latest. And again, guys, real quick, if you could let me know just what's the quality like on the video. I do kind of feel like it moves a little bit, but I don't sense the buffering and it doesn't seem blurry. I'm trying to figure out these camera settings. Again, it's a new phone. The video interviews though, and availability, the Greg Madison, the Pep Hamilton, those turned out better than any video I've ever shot. I mean, just crystal clear. Greg, hey, okay, let me give you another example, guys. If you don't, and I'm not trying to fuel your the Michigan fan hype train or anything, but I've been asked this question a million times if I do really believe that there's new attitude, and yes, I do. And here's one thing: Greg Madison came out with a goatee. He said it's the first time ever, And if you know who Larry Lage is from the Associated Press, Larry rocks the clean head and the goatee. And he was joking with Greg Madison about, hey, yeah, it's okay, you can use it. And with this camera in the video, you can see every single whisker in it. So I mean, it's just absolute clarity. But Greg came out, he's energetic, he's got the new style going. You can sense it. You really can. James Janstein von Squidmerstein, buffering. Video quality good, but any jerseys, lettering, plays back. Yeah, mirrors. I don't know why it's the mirrored ones, guys. I don't know why. It didn't used to be like that last season. If anybody has any helpful hints, if you're a tech guy, you know how to fix these problems, please let me know, because I'm very not techy at all. John Brower says, Robert Potsman says, we really struggled last year with route running, and that played a big part in our passing struggles. I think we'll have that cleaned up now. And how much of that, though, last year, route running and, just overall communication, I think, with quarterbacks just wasn't there. Wilton Spate goes down, and John O'Corn, I don't think John ever had full command of that team. That's not a knock on John. That was Wilton's offense, and he got injured. And I just... if you don't have it at quarterback, the dominoes fall elsewhere, right? Luke Copley says, figures John is awful. Hey, he put up a bunch of numbers at Houston, right? And a lot of Michigan fans thought he was going to come in and he was going to be a guy who was going to light it up. It's really situational. Goes on a person-by-person basis. Things didn't work out for John O'Corn at Michigan. Do you see any big upsets tomorrow? No. I am interested. Oh, shoot. Who is it? Washington. Let me look that up. Yeah. Washington-Auburn. I am pretty interested in that game. And real quick, since you brought it up, I'm going to bring... we could go over the schedule real quick, guys. I got about 10 more minutes I could spend, so any questions. But I don't know. I'm gonna go real bold, guys. I'm gonna go Western Kentucky over Wisconsin in an absolute rout. No, but Oklahoma's playing Florida Atlantic, no problem. Wisconsin, Western Kentucky, no problem. Utah State, Michigan State, no problem for Michigan State. Stanford, San Diego State, no problem for Stanford. Texas, Maryland. I don't know. Maybe tough. I don't think Maryland's going to be that good this year, so I think it's pretty easy with Texas. Penn State and App State. Number 10, Penn State and Appalachian State. That's going to be trying to think of the right word to use for that. I mean, that's going to be ugly. Yeah, but Washington and Auburn. And Washington number 6, Auburn number 9. So I'm not sure if you could call it really an upset. But that's kind of the other game, other than Michigan Notre Dame, which I think is the biggest thing going this weekend. And I mentioned it the other day. Jim Hackett was on the Harbaugh Attack Each Day podcast, and he said he thinks it's the biggest thing going in the country this weekend. I'd have to agree. So other than Michigan Notre Dame, that Auburn Washington game is one that I'm going to try to watch. That's a 3:30 kickoff, so hopefully I get down to South Bend early enough and I can watch that game. Any other questions, guys? Comments? John Brower says Texas will win that 2-minute. Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. But even before all this stuff, I didn't really think that Maryland was going to be that great this year. But yeah, absolutely. With everything else, the unfortunate death of a player and just all this, Durkin's coaching techniques being called out. I mean, yeah, it's turmoil. It's turmoil. I would have never, ever predicted this coming. Not from the DJ Durkin that we saw at Michigan. I never would have guessed this. Steven Danisek says 31-17 Michigan. See you there tomorrow. I will be down there. Devin Rylant says score for Michigan Notre Dame game. Your prediction, Devin? I'm going 2017 Notre Dame. Robert Protzman said you should join Nick on his podcast sometime. If he extends an invite, I would do it, definitely. Nick's a super busy guy too. He works his ass off. I have a lot of respect for Nick. Frank Lucas says 42-0 Michigan. Are you serious, Frank? At Notre Dame, possibly wet field, night game. Michigan has not played well, and I know it's not all these guys' fault, but I mean, just big games lately. What, they're 0-12 right here. And I was reading this earlier from Larry Lidge of the Associated Press. Michigan is 0-16 on the road against top 25 teams. The last time they beat one was the Fighting Irish, 47-21 on September 16th, 2006. I mean, and obviously that doesn't have anything to do with the current players, but I'm just saying the history that carries over. I mean, so far under Harbaugh, the Wolverines have not played well big road games, big games kind of period. I mean, I feel like they should have beat Florida State in the Orange Bowl. That one was given away, I think. And again, but I mean, you can also argue, okay, that 15-game Michigan State, one play away, just got to punt the ball away. So, maybe it's not fair to just completely hammer on Harbaugh's road record and Michigan's road. They've played in some close games, and this is going to be a close game, Frank, not a blowout. 42-0. J Mays 2, Adam, you have a sweet job. Any advice how to do what you do? Follow your dreams or they're going to leave you behind. I've always wanted to be a sports writer ever since I was a kid. I didn't even really realize it was a job until I got older. And I just grew up, reading the Flint Journal. My grandma would give me the sports section, and we'd read sports section in the Wide Awake Club. So from that point on, I think like in 3rd grade, I wrote like a little short book about Barry Sanders. All my papers were always, any type of writing class, anything like that. All my papers were always about sports. So, I mean, it was always something that I really was passionate about. So my advice would be, if you're just starting out, start a blog, I mean, it's really, get on YouTube and start talking. I mean, it's real easy, I think, but just study up, follow it. And I mean, if it's something that you really enjoy doing it, go after. And I think a lot of you guys that followed me, I thought it was going to be over, when my job was eliminated last October at FanRag. I was doing some freelance work for Spartan Mag. Wasn't able to get in there full time. I had to take a job. I was accounts manager at a place, I don't want to name it. It's a tier 1 automotive, or it's not necessarily just automotive, but it's a tier 1 distributor, Automation Alley in Auburn Hills. So I had dressed nice every day, sat at a desk, and I had, a great group of people working with me, and I really liked the people that I worked with, but I hated the job. All I thought about was like, how am I going to get back before football season? That was the only thing on my mind. So things happened, and I'm thankful that they did. So And my laptop is 24 minutes of power. So anyway, I'm over here waxing poetic, but I'm glad to be back. Thanks for following me, guys. Check out my stuff. I'm going to let you guys go. It's 40 minutes. My computer's about to die here. So follow me on Twitter at AdamBiggers81. If I missed anything, you want to carry this over, tweet me. I'll try to respond throughout the day. But follow me on Twitter at AdamBiggers81. Follow Great Lakes Divide at GL Divide, and that's Facebook and Twitter. GreatLakesDivide.squarespace.com. And again, thank you to FederalWilliams.com. If you're looking for any real estate in the greater Lansing, Okemos, East Lansing, Hazlet area, Federal Williams, Mike Williams is your guy. And you go to FederalWilliams.com. You can search by neighborhoods, price range, everything. He prides himself on customer service. So definitely appreciate his support, and he'll hook you up if you are looking in the Lansing area for a home. So, and again, if I didn't tell you already, if you didn't see it, we partnered up with my partner, Ryan Schuling, and myself. We partnered up with Detroit Sports and Entertainment. Just thrilled about that. We tweeted out the release. Check out Detroit Sports Entertainment and follow them on Twitter at DET Sports ENT. So I'm Adam. You guys are you guys. Luke Copley, give me a call, man. Got to talk. We'll talk. Tell your dad, your brother, hello. And if you guys are down at Notre Dame, again, drive safe. Thanks for watching. And okay, one more. Who are the skill players to watch for Masterfuls? I'll get Notre Dame. Miles Boykin. I think he's top threat. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'll have a live stream after the Notre Dame game. It'll probably be really late. I'll try to do it. If not, it'll be first thing Sunday morning. But watch out, there'll be a lot of written content and things like that. And so again, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time.